Hello, everyone. We've been seeing each other like this is our third day in a row. Thank you for being here. And I have to say, although we loved talking with Anna and we love talking with Jesse, everyone has been saying, I can't wait for Tuesday to see Charlotte Hegele. They're all excited to see Julie. How are you, Charlotte?
I'm doing really, really well. Thank you so much. How
Sure.
are you?
I'm good. We're all good, I think. Everybody's in the chat talking to each other. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you. I'm really excited. It's such a pleasure to be able to do this. I've never done a live stream before,
Oh, you'll be
so
great.
bear with me.
You'll be fine. It's like nothing. It'll be fine. It's just us hanging out, having a talk. If you have to get a drink, you could get a drink. One time I was chatting with someone and their little like 3-year-old toddled in and wanted help on their iPad and she was like, hold on. And she had it. It's no biggie. It's just us hanging out.
Okay, right on. That's like that famous YouTube video of like do you remember the little toddler coming in the background of the BBC?
Well, with the man and the woman, I don't know if it was the nanny or if his wife.
Runs in frantically and like grabs both of the kids and like pulls them out, and you're like, and he just keeps
Well,
talking. He just keeps talking.
I know.
That's what I'm gonna do. I can do that.
Okay. You can do it. It'll be great. So let's talk about a little bit about like I know it's like the boring question that I like to ask, but we would like to get to know you as much as you can share. Tell us a little bit about like how or why you decided to even become an actress or even try this out.
Okay. I started acting. My very first acting role was in grade 3.
Wow.
I was in my school play. I was not the star, but I was a dragon in one scene, and then in the next scene I was a daisy, a flower. So they had cut out the petals, and my head was the center of the flower. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. And it was really not so much being the center of attention. That's never really been my thing. It's very much storytelling.
Mhm.
It's sort of communicating a story to an audience and having that connection.
That
And
makes
I also find it oh, sorry.
No, I said that makes sense. I'm just listening. Go right ahead. Keep going.
And, I always really enjoyed that. So in high school, I auditioned for my high school play, and I did get the lead, which was amazing. Um, Throughout school, my mom signed me up for singing lessons because I love to sing. I used to sing "O Canada" very loudly, and my grade 2 teacher was like to my mom, she's like, "Catherine, you realize Charlotte like really wants to sing," and she's like, "Oh, okay." So she signed me up. So I've always loved the artistic side of expression, but also performance. And then in high school, I also did community theater. And then when I was 17, I moved to Toronto, Ontario, here in Canada, and I signed up to go to Humber College's acting for film and television diploma program. I graduated when I was 19. I got my agent, Alicia, and I've been with her ever since.
Oh,
And the rest,
wow.
as you say, is history.
Oh, that's nice. Then you have like a good relationship since it's the same person all this time. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm very lucky to be with Alicia. She's the best.
Now, I saw you in and we talked about this a little bit in the studio cuz and you could see what they zeroed in on your beautiful face, how young and youthful you were when you were on Murdoch Mysteries. Is that like one of you said one of your early roles?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of my first roles. I got it when I was 19. And then I
Wow.
turned 20. My birthday, my 20th birthday was on set.
Aw.
And I had such a fantastic time. Annabelle Rose is such an iconic role within my family that my mom got a wiener dog like the following year,
Yeah.
named her Annabelle Rose.
Aw.
Our dog, our family dog, is named Annabelle.
Aw.
And yeah, so that's pretty cute. And we had such a great time on set. My mom got to come on set and meet the cast. Yannick was so sweet to her. He brought her right behind. He's like, "Oh, mom." He brought her right behind Video Village, which is where they have all the monitors set up. So before you can see when you're on set, where they have
Mhm.
the cameras over here, and then they've got all the monitors where you can watch what's being filmed over here. It's called Video Village, and that's where my mom got to sit, which was really nice.
I love the set. The set, I love watching, like, how they put the leaves on the walkway when to show it's a different season. I don't know,
Yes,
I just love the show.
it
If
was. those
Yeah.
minute details, like when you see something there's nothing unintentional in film and TV. That's something I learned earlier on. Every little detail, someone's job was to put it there.
Right.
So yeah, you're
And
totally right.
catch it in that little frame so we see it. I love it. I pay attention to details. I love that. They did, when I know I'm jumping around, but just thinking about this, on When Calls the Heart, when they introduced the character of Lucas, we went a whole season not really knowing much about him, and then we got the opportunity finally to have a look into his office. They built a new set, and when they did his office up, the set director, she's amazing. She put every little thing that you could imagine in there. And we paid attention to all of it. And we learned, that he'd traveled the world and what his favorite things were. We even tried to zero in on family photos.
Oh, really?
And yes. And some of the stuff that is there was brought to light in the next season, which is nice. So you are correct. We have
Yeah,
to pay attention
right
to
on.
all
No,
those.
One Calls the Heart is fantastic for detail as well.
Yeah, they are.
You have to be when you do a period piece.
Mhm.
You can't have any cell phones. Not that they would, but you have to make sure
And I
everything's.
was thinking about that. I was thinking you had quite a few roles that were like period pieces, like Rain, right? You were on Rain.
Yes.
And what was it? Oh, Bomb Girls, correct. And then When Calls the Heart. And then I was thinking, okay, and then you have your more modern stuff. Like, do you have to prepare differently, or is it
Oh,
just a role is a role?
yeah, no, definitely. I've done a lot of, I've been very blessed and lucky to do a lot of period pieces.
Yes.
And I researched the time period. I
Oh,
find that, well, for Bomb Girls, for example, my character is a singer. So in my audition, I had to learn, I had to sing Vera Lynn for my audition. So I did a bunch of research to figure out about Vera Lynn, about Ella Fitzgerald, and then also the World War II. So it wasn't just what it is to be living in that time. It says, what was it to be a woman at that time? What was
oh,
it to
true.
wear certain outfits and be alive during that time period
For sure.
in Canada. And so when I was doing When Calls the Heart research, I did similar things, but it was interesting because for Bomb Girls, I auditioned. It took 6 months. I auditioned, or not 6 months, 3 months. I auditioned 6 times
Oh.
to get on that show. And for When Calls the Heart, I did one audition, and I've been on it for like, what is it now? 8 years.
I don't know, forever. I love it.
They just it was I auditioned on a Thursday. I kid you not, I auditioned on I auditioned on a Tuesday. I got the role on a Thursday, and I was on a horse the next Tuesday in
Oh,
BC. So I didn't have a lot of time to do research, so I was kind of learning on the fly. But I do really enjoy immersing myself within that time period to understand what it would really be like. It's beyond just the character connection and the storytelling.
right.
I wanna make sure that I do the characters and the story justice.
I mean, I love that because I'm like a research freak myself. Like when I have someone who's coming on, I want to research and I want to find out, or if I'm going to teach something new or a new topic, I have to research it. I want to know all the little pieces and all the little aspects. And I guess too, you can't just, I mean, I know they give you a script, but just like the way you carry yourself and you walk is probably different in each time period. Thinking about Rain, right back in that, what was year that was? I don't even remember, but that was long ago.
Yes, I would say oh my gosh. Oh no, I didn't know this was gonna be a test. I'd say
No, 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 I don't
1640,
remember.
like Elizabeth II and Mary
Yes,
Queen of Scots, 1640. Yeah.
right. And then you have When Calls the Heart, still a timepiece, but the people that's modern compared to what you just did. So
Yeah.
you have different ways that you could walk and talk and move. So that's kind of fascinating to me. I like
And
that.
I find, you know what? This is the wonderful part about being an actor is that sometimes it gets to the like you don't really get all of the performance together until when you're on set and I get in the corset and I
Mhm.
put on the shoes. So like we have a fabulous costume designer for When Calls the Heart, Barbara, who's one of my very
Yes.
good friends. So
I interviewed her.
I you've interviewed her?
Yes.
Oh, I'll have to watch it. I love
Yes.
Barbara. She's the best. Get in the corset, get in the shoes, get into the outfit, and then get the hair and makeup done, and then you get everything going, and then you suddenly start to you sit differently.
Mm.
And
Yes.
you can practice that, but it's another thing to actually like embody it. And you
Mhm.
realize just how many people are involved in it. Like my job, it's it is what it like you feel like, not that it is, but you sometimes feel like, oh, I'm like going to be in the front of the camera, but it's like it becomes a very humbling and grounding experience when you actually start acting professionally. You
Mhm.
realize how many people are involved in making that shot what it is, and they
Just
really contribute to the whole me being able to fully understand who this character is.
so you're not alone, like, it's not all on you, you really need everyone, all those other people to put it together. Jesse Hutch sort of said something like that yesterday, even to the point where in the camera, what's in the camera, why it's behind you, you don't wanna stand in its way because someone put it there for a reason, they need to see it, and so you're saying that person's doing your hair, your makeup, your costume, you're like a team, it's a team effort
Never,
just to put that.
100%.
Yeah.
And you just realize that you're just one little sliver of a very big pie.
Yeah.
And sure, maybe I have to cry when they say action, but it's not going to look good if there's not good lighting. If the camera's out of focus, if
It's
my
true.
hair is just out
Right,
of the,
right.
it's really a wonderful experience being on set the first time. So, and
Wow.
When Calls the Heart has such every year I've been on it has had such a fabulous cast and crew. I've had such a good time working with them.
I
They're all
know.
professional, but also very kind and gracious, and made me feel
Everyone
right at home because I
Yeah.
was during the season 9 episodes in.
Mm.
Yeah,
Every actor that has ever been on, or writer, or the costumer, we had the picture show guy, Nate, who takes care of all of the
yeah,
picture
yeah, of
show cars,
course.
like all of them, they all say the same thing. Like, it's a happy, joyful place. They
Yes.
love it. They love being there. I mean, Peter DeLuise sometimes is in our chat. Like, he'll add silly things and stuff. You could tell he enjoys himself too when he's there. So, I mean, that's such a nice thing. And we feel that as viewers. I think that's why they have such a crazed fan base and we're so invested in the show, like we're cuckoo. We think we are part of the show. That's my aunt started watching and she goes, "You all think you're part of the show. You think," meaning a Hardy, like, "You
Yeah.
think you have a say."
You do have a say, though. I don't know how I can speak about this too specifically, but I remember there was a season earlier on where we hadn't quite gotten the grasp of social media. Like, at least I
Mhm.
hadn't. Like, I used to have to sign like agreements being like, you will not say anything about
Okay.
NDAs about being on
Yeah.
a show.
Sure,
Or,
sure, sure.
now the industry has changed. It's very much like an interactive, like, let's do
Mhm.
live back and forth. Let's do something. It's totally different. The game has changed. So you guys do have. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you guys do have a say.
Yeah, I
And
think
I'm
you're right.
on that side of it. I
Yeah.
hear people talk about the Hardys every day, every day.
All right, now before we talk more about When Calls the Heart and all these other questions I have for you, tell me what you've been doing lately. What have you been up to? Because I love your Instagram account. I love when you get out I think it's a guitar, right? And you start singing. You have like a gorgeous voice.
Thank you.
Do you write your own music or are you just singing other people's
I
songs?
do. I do sing other people's music, but I have written a lot of my own. So
Oh.
yeah, I'm very I'm gonna say I'm very artistic, but yeah, no, I'm like to express myself in a lot of different ways. During COVID, I had to sort of find different avenues to express my creativity because I
Mhm.
didn't act for about a year and a half.
Mhm.
Um, and I did that in ways of singing, writing songs. I've written poetry and short stories, and actually put together a zine, which is like a homemade. It's called a zine is called a homemade magazine. So a zine,
Oh.
and I have two out right now. Which I guess if no one's ever asked me to, like, I sell them in a bookstore here in London, Ontario. So if you would like to buy one, I would be happy to figure that out for you.
Yes,
They're
yes.
it's a 5-part series about grief. So the first one I wrote was it's called It's Taken Years. The second one is It's Taken Months. It's taken weeks, it's taken days, and then it's taken minutes. So that's
Well,
something
you
I'm putting out slowly. And I'm also now, I went back to school last summer and I'm a
okay.
certified florist. So I work part time in a flower shop here in London, which I'm really enjoy. And I have such a great time there with the girls, and we create beautiful flower arrangements.
I've seen them.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
post them a lot too. And
Yeah.
some of them it's very interesting. I find floral design, it's not just creative. When
Mhm.
someone comes in to buy flowers, I always say, "What brings you in today?" And they go, "I'm getting married."
Uh-huh.
Or
Aw.
they go, "My husband
Yeah.
just passed."
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
have to gauge. So it's always a big life event, and then you hear a story about someone again, and then
Aw.
you want to honor that story by creating something that they'll love on the day.
Aw.
Find that whole experience really wonderful. It feels like a privilege to be able to be involved in people's lives like that. So I really enjoy it.
I never even thought do you know what? I never even thought of that. Like, I've never even thought of how emotional that must be when someone is going in, whether it's a high or a low emotion. Like, I
Yes.
never thought of that. You saying that right now. We have, I think she's probably on one of the admins to it's Chris McNally's fan page. She actually is she does floral designing. She is a designer as well, went to school and everything. She did it too. She's on here. I bet you she's loving what you just said. We'll probably find her eventually in the chat, and we'll connect with her in a few minutes. I love that though. You have a separate Instagram account, I think, for your floral designs, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes. Yeah.
It's called
So
Charlotte's Garden Floral. My Instagram is Charlotte Emma Hegele. I have
oh,
many Instagrams. I have run out of names. I don't even know, but yeah, I do post my floral on both generally.
yeah. Well, what I'll do is when we're done and this goes on to YouTube, I'll put it in the description so people can find it for you.
Oh,
But would you for us, do you know how to link on your Instagram account
yes,
where we could buy the what is it called? A zine? What
a
did you say?
zine.
Yes.
I can
Okay.
figure that out. I will do
Okay.
that tonight and tomorrow.
All right, that would be great. I will definitely want to purchase. And when you say London, you're not talking about London, England. You're talking about
I wish.
London.
No, London, Ontario,
Yes.
where my parents live and where I'm residing presently, but I still technically do have a place in Toronto. I live in Toronto, but I'm kind of straddling two worlds.
Right.
Like I've
Now,
done a lot of my career actually. I've lived in Toronto and then LA. I lived in Toronto and then Vancouver for a bit, and now I'm in London
so what is like if you were flying, what's the flight? How long of a flight is it?
to Vancouver
Yes, from the into London.
from London. So usually I guess they would fly London to Calgary and then Calgary to Vancouver. So
Oh, wow.
probably I'm gonna say 5 hours. I might be
Yeah.
wrong. I might be over. I haven't done it in a few years. I don't know, but I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
It's not a drive, right? You wouldn't drive it. You would fly.
No.
No,
Oh
mountains are in the way.
there would be a few mountains in the way. You'd have to yeah, it's I think driving wise, I think it takes, if you were to drive straight, maybe 3 or 4 days. Like
Oh, wow.
it's coast to coast. Like it's like going essentially coast to
Yes.
coast. Yeah.
Right. It's just like I guess when I have family in California, it would be me flying out to California. It's like a 6 hour, six and a
Yeah.
half hour flight. Yeah. 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 Oh, I love it. And I also like because I love your posts. I love when you are on and you're telling your little stories about things that happened to you. I love the story about the sweater or the something on the mannequin and how the saleswoman behaved. Shame on her. And
I've never done a rant post like that. I'm going to preface. That was just more in the moment. I was like, you know what? If it's happened to me, it has to
mhm.
have happened to so many other people.
Sure.
I find
Sure.
that when I do stories like that, they're somewhat relatable.
Yes.
During COVID, or like during the last 2 years, I full exposure. I went on an antidepressant and I gained a bunch of weight. So I decided to kind of put out there that I was going through that.
Mhm.
And I have received in return. So in part, it was me going, if you guys have, I have too. Everyone's put on
Yes,
the weight during COVID.
for sure.
But I find that I've received a lot of support myself. Like I've received a lot of people going, "Oh my gosh, me too." And
Yeah.
things have slightly changed, like in acting as well. Like a lot of actors have reached out to me and said that they have sort of changed what they get sent out for, or what
Yes.
they cast as, and
Really?
it's interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it feels like it gives more sense of a community. I find that when you start a conversation,
Mhm.
things become less stigmatized. And I
Mm.
just find that people will always say, "Oh my gosh, you look amazing," when someone's lost weight. But if you gain weight, they go, "Oh my gosh, so good to
That's
see you."
I
And
know.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but it's like one why is one more acceptable than the other?
I
You
don't
know?
know. See, I love that. I love you're putting that out there. I have to say, when I stumbled upon your account, and that's funny you said you have more than one because when I stumbled upon your account, I thought this was a while back. I don't know. I thought I knew of one and it looked different, but maybe it was a different account that you started. But anyway, I forget what you were doing. You were standing up and walking around and showing off something. I don't know if it was a dog or whatever. And when I saw you, I was like, "Oh, look how beautiful she looks." To me, it didn't look like you gained weight or whatever they call it. What it looked like to me was that I hadn't seen you for a while and you were this gorgeous woman. Like instead of like a young child, you were like this gorgeous woman and you had on simple clothes, almost like it was like little biker shorts, maybe and a top or with something over it. I forget which one it was. And I was like, "Oh, how gorgeous she is." And then I was clicking. I thought you looked beautiful. Do you know, not to digress here, but this is making me think of something. Do you by any chance, do you watch Bridgerton? Have you seen the Bridgerton series? Oh my God, I can't. I'm obsessed. All right. So the next story now is Colin and Penelope. And the character, because I've read the books, I know the story. I have like podcasts for that. But the character is she is when she was younger, she was like pudgy, and then as she gets a little bit older, she's not like a stick in that little orange size waist they wanted them to have back then. And the actress is all over social media looking gorgeous as ever. And her storyline is coming up now. That's going to be about her. And I'm like, look at all the beautiful clothes she has on and how gorgeous she is. And she's not this tiny little stick. And I love it. And she's all about body positivity and she's out there and she's got tremendous support from so many people. And I'm like, yes, that's like what we need to hear.
Right
Like,
on.
yeah, she looks like the average person. She looks like my neighbor and the person across the street, and who I work with. It's like, yeah,
I agree. I think that that's valid. I think there needs to be more, not just because I want to get hired more, but I think there
no,
needs to be more variety,
yes,
not and diversity in
yes,
our TV because that reflects our actual lives.
yes,
I think that that's really important, and I think that you're quite right because there are quite a few people who I know it was the film industry is such a tricky business because it's very when I was a skinny mini,
hmm,
I would have people commenting, and I can't really. I'm not going to say who and under
sure,
what
sure,
circumstances, but
sure,
I had more than one person in the industry comment on my size. And it can give you a bit of a complex to be like, holy moly, like if
yeah,
this is me at like extra small, like
right,
I
right,
can't imagine how it feels,
mm,
to be going through this I've gone through it now for 10 years. And I think people change. It's natural over the
mhm,
course of a lifespan to have your body fluctuate in weight. I think it's natural for you to go from, yeah, you're quite right, a smaller size to a more womanly size. Um,
mhm.
and I think that it happens too when people, for whatever reason, when people have children, when
Yes,
people,
yes,
and it's important to have sort of a conversation to say it's okay. Me too.
right, yeah,
It's
yeah,
happen. It happens, or not that it happens. It's fine that it happens.
Right.
Um, and
Yeah. So
and it
good.
is tricky in film and TV. I won't lie. I've had
Yeah.
conversations about it, but I will say, recently, I've
Mhm.
talked to certain people in the film industry, higher ups, about weight gain, and they are nothing but positive about it. They're
And
like they're like, "Everything is fine. You look fabulous." I feel like there is a shift, personal
good.
personal
Yeah.
experience, from recent years to
Right.
from
Right.
10 years ago.
Hallmark, and I jumped on this, and I already put in for, like, I'm like, I know it's early, but put me on that schedule somehow, some way. And they did get back in touch with me, but we'll get in August. There it towards I think it's towards the end of August. There is a movie Hallmark is putting out, and is it JC? That's her first name. It's about opening up uh someone's doing a line of clothing for like plus size women. And yes, and that's what the storyline is. And it's called something style. I forgot what it is. I'm being terrible at
Okay.
promoting it. But I'm like, wait a minute, I need to have those people on. I want that because that's something new that Hallmark's doing. They've been inclusive about almost everything. Even people with disabilities, people with broken homes, interracial marriages, or relationships, even like gay, lesbian community, everything you can think of. And I'm like, oh, now they're finally going to get into this. This is great. Thank you. So
Nice. That's
we'll be
amazing.
on we'll
I
be
love
on the lookout for it.
I'll be on the lookout too.
All right. Okay. So now, Julie. I'm calling you Julie. Hello, Julie. So, okay, you're from season 1, right? Is it season 1 we met you, or season 2? The Hamilton. It's season 1. Okay. I love it. And I love one of my favorite episodes, well, I think it was more than one episode though, is when you came and you helped harbor the fugitive.
Julie
Julie.
is a wild child. That's what I really like about her. I mean, there's so many reasons why I fall in love with my characters. I have fallen in love with Julie because she is so nice, like, especially, and this is what's so interesting. I've never been on a show this long before, so I'm really excited if and when Julie comes back to see what
Mhm,
she's developed too. But
mhm.
initially, she's just so naive, but such a romantic. And she, in many ways, was way more trusting of people than I've
Yes,
ever been.
yes.
But in a way that it was, she just wanted to find love. She wanted it to be the storybook, that she read in
Mhm.
real life. And I love Julie. I can say that you learn a lot, and they do this on purpose for TV. You learn a lot about a character by their character introduction. It's not just so and so walks on screen. Like, whenever a character is introduced in a script, it's
Yes.
always very detailed. They'll kind of
Mhm.
like give a little, like, even in when you read a script, they'll give a little explanation. But like, if someone were just stroll on screen, Julie comes in on a horse, even though we never see her on a horse again, really,
I
after
know,
the
I
first
was sure,
episode. She's
sure.
suddenly not riding horses, but it's because she wants the showmanship, she wants the attention, she wants to be this exciting, adventurous version of herself in, at the time, Coal Valley, but now Hope
Hope
Valley.
Valley, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I just fell in love with her when I read that. And I have a funny story about the horse, because
Alright.
I put in my resume, I could do a lot of things. I Joey Tribbiani'd it for
Oh,
most of my career. And I said I could ride horses. And
yeah. Mhm.
I got on that. I got the part, and they put me on the horse. And I was like, yes, it's happening. And so I could trot. I couldn't gallop. I didn't
Mhm.
know any of the difference, but they got me on horses a couple days. They trained me up, and then we shot that one scene of me coming into town. Fabulous. Also, riding a horse with a corset on, not
Oh,
that easy. Not that
oh,
easy.
no.
But a lot of fun. And my horse's name was Jerry Seinfeld.
No.
And I called him Jerry because we were on a first name basis.
Mhm,
And there was one morning when they got me on the horse, and then we'd been filming for a few days. This is still
mhm.
season 1. And I get on the horse, and I'm supposed to ride down a long path towards the camera. Jerry was like, I just woke up. I'm not having this. I kid you not. I get to my mark. They say action. I like, my little legs are like, like, let's go. And
Yeah.
he turns around and walks me right back to the stable, goes back into, and I was like, no, no. And everyone's like, Charlotte, what's going on? I'm like, I lied. I don't know how to ride a horse. I don't know how to
Oh,
ride a horse. And they like carried me right back. Anyway, so he woke up. He got his whatever he needed, his
mojo.
warm up, and then he was fine after take two. But the first take was pretty hilarious. They're like, Charlotte, what's going on? You're going the wrong way. I was
It's
like,
like animals and children, little children, right? When they're in the scenes with you, you never know what's going to happen, no matter how well prepared, right? Oh, I love it. I love it. There was a really cool scene, a couple of scenes this season with a horse, because Newton, who is the horse for Nathan, gets injured, and then the new character that comes on, she sort of nurses Newton back to health. She was supposed to have to sing to him, I think, and they cut that part out. But it was interesting. Like she had to have treats like in her apron to feed to the horse so the horse would cooperate. And there was one part where the horse made this reaction and they actually were blowing air in its face to make it have the reaction.
really?
So I mean, yeah. So
Interesting.
there's
So I also don't feel so bad anymore. But
no,
yeah, I
I
worked
love
on that
the
show with dogs, and dogs are also, you think because they're going to be very well trained, they've got the
right,
treats.
right.
You never know with animals,
It's true.
and they don't have the same contract as you. They're getting paid by treats, so they could
Yeah,
just take off or lie down or have a nap. You
I
know?
know. I know. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I was just thinking this is funny. So even though Julie is not there, we haven't seen Julie for a while, we will hear about Julie in a conversation, like a letter that had read, or a phone call, or just a mention that Elizabeth makes. But it was funny because in Elizabeth's book, she has this character and she's a redhead and she's a little on the wild side. And Molly, the character Molly, thinks it was all about her. And then it comes to find out that Julie is the inspiration for the story. Like you were the wild child and did all kinds of crazy things with your parents. I'm wondering, even though we haven't seen Julie, what do you think she's been up to? Like, what has she been doing all these months that we haven't seen her?
You know, that's a great question. I think I'm going to have to say this and say that this has nothing to do with
Yes.
any future scripts. This is
We
just
get it. We get it.
imagination.
Yes.
I would really love to see Julie have, I think one of the conflicts within her in the earlier seasons is that she's finding validation from outside sources.
True.
And in season 5, when she got,
Mhm.
or 6, when she starts teaching with Elizabeth
Yes. The
and
art.
art,
Mhm.
she's finding validation through her own passions. And I'm hoping that if she returns, or when she returns, she will have developed those skills, but then her character would have developed alongside of it. And
Cool.
maybe very well she finds a love interest, but she's grown into a version of herself that can meet them at that level and not just have this romanticized, I'll fall in love with the guy I found out in the woods. Like,
I know.
have standards.
Yeah, right.
Have, yeah, and then she'll know her own self-worth in that regards, and that's what I really love for her. I want her to be happy,
Yes.
and I know that finding love, I think, would be very, very something that should make her very, very happy. But anyway, yeah.
I actually I don't know. I think that would be that's kind of like what I'm wishing for, but I don't want Julie to lose her sense of Julie. You know
No,
what I mean?
oh
Yeah.
no, she'll never lose that little spark of. I
Yes.
think she'll always be. I think that's the part of Julie I really love too, is that she's always just a little, slightly too naive, and not for her, not to not a little too naive for her own good.
Yeah.
A little bit too romantic for her own good, but
I
that's
know.
the charm of her.
That's true. And I think that's why everyone loves her so much, because sometimes she did stuff that we wish we did.
Or she
We
gets into mischief.
Yes,
And
yes,
you're
yes.
just like, why? But it's not because she's trying to be a bad person. She's just being,
No, no,
like, she's
no.
trying to define. And I think, I mean, not to be like, I think she's had a very sheltered life. I think she's had a very sheltered life. You know,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that comes with growing up in a family with a lot of privilege. Is
That's
that
true. Yes.
sheltered her from a lot of, and also being the baby of the family. So it would
But
be interesting to see how she develops.
but they also made her have that adventurous spirit, just like Elizabeth does. Like, I mean, she went all that way out of nowhere to teach. I almost feel like the character of Julie is polar opposite to Viola, right? And then in between is Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my
she,
gosh.
yeah,
Totally. I think
yeah,
that's a very wise observation.
yes, yes. Now, Elizabeth is engaged to Lucas. And what do you think is Julie's reaction? And we do know, again, we will keep stating this. There's not like there's a script in your lap and you're coming from the script. We get that. But what do you think? Just because you are that character, what would you anticipate her reaction to be?
I think she'd need to see him in person to have a
Yeah,
full evaluation. But I think once she did see him in person, she'd be pretty stoked for her sister, and she
yeah,
just wants her to be happy.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's why there's correspondence with with those two characters, even when Julie's
Sure.
not on screen. It's because that's probably a very important
Mhm.
relationship that Elizabeth has had for and since her, early years, was her relationship with
Of
Julie.
course.
Maybe more so than Viola as well.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that person to reflect, like, this is, who I'm going to possibly spend the rest of my life with, and for her to go, okay, I like the sounds of this. So
I
that's my,
know.
but we'd have to wait and see.
I know, and then we had, you had that relationship with, her it at the time wasn't her brother-in-law yet, but, Jack's brother, right? What was
Exactly.
Jack's brother's name? Was it Tom? What was
Yeah.
his brother's
Yeah.
name? Yes. And you 2 were adorable together. I always thought that when he went off to get himself together, that one day maybe we would find those 2 storylines come back again. That would be so great to see that. That would be
Yeah,
neat.
I mean, it would be amazing. Like, that's the cool thing about being on a series like this. I don't like I do have ideas and dreams for my character, but
Mhm.
at a certain point, you kind of have to cut that off and go, well, it's not within my control. I get the script just like an egg everybody else. I'm like, what? Flipping the pages, like, what's she doing now? There are times when I try not to judge her, because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, Julie. But no, I love her, and I love being on the series, and I think that it would be nice to have that reference, like, to go back to Tom and Jack's family,
Mhm.
because of the son that Elizabeth
Sure.
and Jack
Little
have.
Jack.
So that would be interesting. But again, I'm not a writer, so who knows?
I know, I hear you. We are, this has been fabulous. I love talking with you. We have they're all excited, so we can't put them off. We have to see what they're saying out there. Um, let's see. Oh, this is cute. And she said this early on because she even said this, I think, before you even really like said it, which is funny.
Aw, I love that. I hope she gallops back to Hope Valley too.
I know.
And maybe she will.
This is just people showing you some love.
Oh, thank you. It
Yeah.
means so much. Having Hearties, oh my gosh, being part of the Hearty community is so wonderful. And
Yeah.
I really do appreciate the support so much.
This was a cute one. We had mentioned it a little bit. I like this one. It said, "Did you by chance get your first name because of a love of literature? Not yours, it would be your parents." Like from Charlotte's
Yeah,
Web.
no, I love Charlotte's Web. I don't think that's where the name came from. My aunt is named Charlotte, and her
Oh.
aunt is named Charlotte, or was named Charlotte. So it's a family name. But my mom, this is a funny personal story. My mom, up until the day I was born, was like, I'm going to name this child Evan, if it's a boy or a girl. And I was going to almost be Evan, which would be amazing, but also
Uh-huh.
not Charlotte.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when
yeah.
I was born, my dad was like, well, what about Charlotte? And my mom goes, yeah, yeah, better name, better name.
She saw the face and she knew it would work.
I
Yeah.
feel like if I was called Evan, it would have been, I would have had a totally different personality. I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't be who I am. I'd be like
Right, right.
different.
I like it. I like it. It fits you. It suits you.
Thank you.
Lynn is saying, of all the characters, I wish to return to Hope Valley, either permanently or for a visit. Julie is the top of my list.
Yay. Likewise, but that's because I am Julie. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But I would really love to come back.
Yes. Marianne's saying the same thing. Fingers crossed. Yeah, everyone. There's like every one of them. Look, I'm sure she can't answer, but I'd love to know if we'll see you in season 10.
I actually can't answer.
We know.
I don't know. But if there's ever any mention or anything that comes up, make sure to follow my Instagram because I will
Mhm.
post it on there. But I can't actually respond because I don't know myself.
Yep, which
Oh,
is good, and we will follow.
yeah,
They'll follow you.
follow and see.
Yes. Um, live one. I share my name with Charlotte. I'm just going through all the different.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this is someone else. Julie riding in on the horse while the constable was in the stagecoach.
Power move.
Yes.
One of my I don't think we mentioned this, but one of my other favorite moments from the show was slapping John. I think his last name's Reardon, John Reardon, across the face in the first season. I actually had to slap him across the face, and I was terrified. I was like, I don't want to hurt anybody, and they're like,
Oh
No,
my
you have to
gosh.
do it. And he was like, You can do it. It's fine. It's fine. So the first time I did it, I walked up and I was like, and then I left, and they were like, Charlotte, you can't smile. And I was like, I'm sorry, it was a natural response. I don't know. I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. So then they're like, do it one more time, but don't smile. Please don't smile. He's like, yeah, one more time, one more time. So I was like, okay. So I did it a second time and I didn't smile. And that's the take that ended up being in the show.
Right. That's cute. I love that. That's a good story. It's a fun one. Well,
I
um,
mean, not for me, not for him.
yeah, no, I love it. I love it. You know what? I didn't realize it was a real slap. Sometimes I wonder,
Yeah, I think they thought I had dainty wrists, so it wouldn't
yeah, you
be
could do it.
too bad
You
to
would do
do.
it.
But it was a real, and we only did it twice, and I felt that we were supposed to do it once, but I ruined it because I almost smiled.
Someone is talking about Bomb Girls. I wanted to talk more about that too. It says, I enjoyed the Bomb Girls series. Kate was fun character to watch, and the entire ensemble had great chemistry. So, for those of us that may never have watched it, and it is, you can get it. I was looking around on the different places. If you go on your TV, you can find how you would be able to see it. Give us a little background about it.
Okay, so Bomb Girls is set in 1941 and then 1942, and during World War II in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And
Mhm.
it's about the women who ended up going to bomb munitions factories during World War II to make the bombs that they then sent overseas. So this was, like Rosie the Riveter, like
Yes,
Sally
yes,
gets this.
yes, yes.
She's a bomb girl. And it was an interesting story to tell because these women had never worked in a factory setting prior to this time
Oh,
period.
well, sure.
So it was really wonderful to be. And the other wild thing is that I'm not sure, I'd have to look it up, but at the time when we shot it about 10 years ago,
Mhm.
there were still bomb girls who were able to come on set and have a look around, and I felt so
Oh,
privileged to be able to honor them by
and
telling their story.
oh, wow, that's pretty
And
amazing.
it's also kind of like a soap opera drama. Like there's
Mhm.
like love, there's I don't know, there's also I'll give you a taste. My
Okay,
favorite line from the show, it's not my character's line, but one of
okay,
my favorite lines from the show, and I apologize if this offends anyone, is
okay.
Hazel McDougal gave you the clap.
Oh
That is
my god.
that's the line, and that is Bomb Girls. It is just like a fun, and there's music, there's dancing, there's men in uniforms, women in
Ooh,
uniforms,
ooh.
all sorts. So it's a lot. It's a really fun show, and my character Kate is a preacher's daughter who had a really tough upbringing, and you figure this out in the first 5 minutes. So it's not a big spoiler, but she runs away from her family and then starts working at the factory. So she's kind of starting a whole new life in identity.
And
So
what did you say? You said entrances tell a lot about the character, how they first and oh,
and where
that's
they end up going.
okay. I love that. All right. And you know what? I love that. I have to say, not that I've ever said that because I haven't, but when there was, and I don't even like to bring this up, but I'm going to, when there was controversy about who Elizabeth would be choosing, whether it be Nathan or whether it be Lucas, I remember, first of all, that we met Lucas first. And I remember how they met and how he, how we got to meet him. And he was, unloading his for the saloon and unloading the truck and how he talked to her and he kind of flirted with her until he realized who she was. And I was like, oh, okay, that's it. I knew they talked about books, the whole thing. I knew that was it. Like, this is him. This is the guy.
Got the eye for detail.
Janice is saying it's nice to hear that said again. It's good to know that others realize there are so many other people involved in this performance. It's nice to hear that actor can be regular people too. And we were talking about, you were saying how everybody gets to be a part of you as the character, like for you, the costume or your hair, your makeup, even, lighting, the whole thing. That's what she was talking about.
Yeah. It's you just realize how many moving parts there is in a show. You think, oh well, I'm just like when I watch something, when I watch Meryl Streep, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my
Amazing.
gosh, her performance. But then
Yes.
when you actually are on set and
Mm-hmm.
and you're acting, you realize just how many people. And I know she's amazing, but
Mm-hmm.
made her get to that point where it's also just the feel of it is good, the lighting is perfect,
Mm-hmm.
like everything just works together, and it takes like 50 plus people to have that happen.
Right,
It's
right,
not it's not a it's not a it's not a random thing, and it
right. A
takes
lot of people.
professionals. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people.
It's
So
a
that's
big
people
family.
think when you're acting, it's like the camera's right here and you're talking to the other actor. It's not
Yeah.
the other actor. It's like a whole group of people standing
Right.
behind the actor watching, not you, but did the hair
Yes.
go in front of her face?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have to fix that next take. So many people are just staring at you, and you do have an audience when you're on film.
Now, do you watch yourself like let's say you're in this season, right? When it's ready to come out, will you watch it? Will you actually watch it on TV, the show or a
Yeah,
movie
I
you're
do.
in?
I watch it with my mom,
Okay.
the Hardy. So
Yeah.
I don't actually. It's interesting when I'm not on it. I tend to watch it, or like sorry, I will try and watch it with someone else.
Mhm.
So when my mom's up for it, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's have a Hardy
Mm.
night.
Now, this is funny. Here's Christina. Remember, I was saying that there was an admin and she's certified flower. Well, you're a certified flower designer, right? Yeah. And she went to school too. She said she writes a lot of poetry too. So I love that you write poetry.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because I'm sure after she heard that, oh, look, here it is. Oh my God, that's strange. You're so much like me. I write poetry and I went to floristry school too.
Yes.
Kindred spirits.
Do you want
Yeah.
to hear? Can I mean, this is really random, but would you
Oh,
like
yeah.
the
Yeah.
poems?
Yeah. Sure.
That be okay? Is that too weird?
No,
Okay,
no.
it's short.
Okay. All right. No, come on.
Memorized. Okay.
All right.
We were only 11 yet. A chapter of blushing cheeks and racing hearts, both torn apart in haste. To erase you from the rest of my book was as easy and as hard as ripping a page out of my favorite book. I mistook your prologue as our epilogue and your limerick as our sonnet. From the moment I judged your cover, I should have known that paper cuts would turn to blood and guts and you would never be my own. You never meant to hurt me, but you never meant to stay. You were with me only briefly, and when you went away, I was still fingering your pages and holding close your spine. May they remind me of a time when you were briefly mine.
Oh, I love it. That's
Thank
amazing.
you. It's in my zine.
Oh, okay. That's fabulous. So, Susie was saying that's funny. Not funny, but she's saying, I would love to read your works. It's so amazing to have a variety of creative outlets. How exciting. So, yes, you are going to post that though, so we can get our
Yeah,
hands on
definitely.
all of that.
Definitely.
Yeah, we got a little free tidbit there. How much fun working in a flower shop. I would love to do that. And I would love to read your she wasn't sure how to spell it.
The zine, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, people talking about how COVID and all of that, all the issues that people struggled with. People saying, "Hello, oh, here's some more love for you."
Aw. Yeah, I would love to get a front row seat to that wedding, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. And Janice saying, by the way, I never knew there was such a thing as floristry school, but that makes sense. And I just work with silk flowers, so I don't worry about a flower's life. How long? Oh, they'll survive in water. Oh, how about that? I didn't even realize that Janice did that. Cool. And Margie saying, oh, I like this. Look what she's saying here. You're correct because women's bodies go through many changes, including having babies and going through menopause, getting older also changes your body as your body begins to slow down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's really it's just I would love for there to be more representation so that it isn't such a but I know it's hard, but it's like I don't want it to be such a taboo thing. Like again, I said people will say if you lose weight, people will say, "Have you lost weight?" But if you
I
gain weight,
know.
you kind of go, "Hello," and you're like, "Hi." Okay.
I know. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah. Oh
This
my
is
god.
cute.
We would get into shenanigans. I can
Yes.
already predict it.
The actor who plays the little Jack now, because it's not
Yeah.
twins, Hyland is like a piece of work, but in a good way. Like, what an adorable scene stealer, hilarious. It's just I can't wait to see what he gets up into this
I
season.
know, me too.
He's adorable.
So cute. I love kids. I love working with kids. We had a little guy come in today. His name was William to the flower shop. And I was like,
Mhm.
hello, what brings you in today? And his mom was like, so I need to get some flowers for my son's preschool teacher that say, I'm really sorry my son peed on you yesterday. And I was like, we can do that.
Oh my god.
We can definitely cover. Don't worry. And then William was like, and I was like, okay, let's
Yeah.
do this.
Oh my god.
It was pretty
That's
cute.
funny. They loved it. They're just saying, "Oh my god, fantastic, awesome." There, that was amazing, wonderful when you read it too. Oh
Aw,
my god, love the creative writer in you.
aw, thank
And
you.
this is cool. Have you any aspirations of writing an episode?
Holy moly. Maybe one day.
Yes,
Maybe
I
one
think you've got a new showrunner in there. You should just say, "Hello, let me drop
Just
this
for one of
to."
my zines one day when she's or yeah.
I
Or
know Jesse does things like that. Like he's like, if I got the thought, like if he wanted to do some kind of stunt and for who was it? Somebody pretty big. And he said he just found their number. It was in the, in the pro IMDb thing. So he looked it up and he called them and said, "Hello, I would like to, be a part of your show or whatever movie it was making." Because you got to do it. You got to put it out there.
love promotion. It's important and confidence is important, not cockiness, not arrogance, but
Yes. Oh, yes,
being
you're
confident.
right.
I know that success is sort of it's that old expression that success is a combination of an enormous amount of preparation with a little bit of luck.
Mhm.
And being confident throughout that whole process will just get you to that final stage and then accelerate you up to where you need to be.
Nice.
So yeah, it's that
Good,
balance.
good philosophy. Good like mantra or thoughts. I don't know what else to call it. Good stuff.
Sure.
Oh, well, look, we're going to end on this fabulous note right here, saying that was fabulous. I hope they bring you back. Hope Valley is not as much fun without Julie.
I agree. I
Yes. And if they bring you back, I will reach out to you. And when the show comes on and we analyze the scenes, maybe you'll have time that you could pop on and do your little 10-minute talk about your scene and what's happening kind of thing. Because then we don't have to worry about spoilers because you know what I mean? The scene happens, so you can talk freely about it, which is nice.
okay. All
Yeah.
right. So we'll see if that happens.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll be watching your Instagram account for any news.
Yeah,
I
you'll know it first on there. You'll
Yes.
know it. My mom will know it first. Call
Okay.
her, and then I'll post it on my Instagram.
All right. So before you say goodbye, because you're going to say goodbye in 1 minute, I just wanted to tell everyone out there while I have your attention, we've been together for 3 days, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I had a busy few days. On Thursday, be on the lookout because I have something for the character of Henry Gowan called O. Henry. So it's a little bit of his little O. Henry moments in season 9 and a recipes included. That's Thursday. And then if you are a Bridgerton fan, I didn't put anything up on this channel, but I have a separate channel I'm working on, and I'm getting that. I have a few things up, and I'm trying to like get that going. It's just under my name, Roxanne Durensis. Nothing fancy, no everything about Hallmark. I keep that separate. And Julie, not really Julie, but Charlotte. Whether you're Julie or what was your character's name from Bomb Girls? I forgot. What was it?
She had 2 names, Miriam and then Kate Andrews when she runs away from home.
Oh, okay. Whatever character you are, you're always welcome back because you were lovely.
Thank
Lovely.
Thank you so much. This was so much smoother. I honestly, all day, I was like getting a little nervous,
Oh
a little
no.
sweaty,
No.
but this was
No.
so much fun. It was lovely getting to meet you. I hope one day we get to meet in person. Maybe I'll come to New Jersey and say hello.
Yes. You
That would be
can come to New Jersey anytime you want. I'm in the southern part, and I am like in between Philadelphia and Atlantic City. And
oh,
believe it or
yeah.
not, so to give you a little quick thing of my town, if you looked it up, it literally is like a little Hallmark town. I'm not kidding you.
Really?
Yes.
Aw,
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
I love that. It's like, yeah, I love, I would love to explore more of America. So I very much may take you up on that offer.
Oh, it would be so nice. I would love it. So
Anyway.
we can say goodnight. And then when I end a broadcast, you just give me 1 hot minute and stay, and we could say goodbye, our goodbyes in the studio.
Okay,
So
right on.
you could say bye because they're all loving you.
Make sure you check out the new season of When Calls the Heart when it airs. Who knows
Yes.
who's on it? Who will be on it? Oh.
Yes.
And thank you all for joining tonight. It was so nice hanging out with you.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Good night, everyone.